Being a Broadway performer is pretty cool.
And a lot of hard work.
Getting there is even harder.
We're going to tell you all about it.
I'm Adrienne Walker.
And I'm Austin Cook.
Welcome to 32 Bar Cut. Welcome to Broadway Banter on 32 Bar Cut. I am Adrienne Walker.
I'm Austin Cook.
And we both work in musical theater. And just so happens 5 years ago, our lives changed. We moved to New York. I made my Broadway debut as Nala in The Lion King. And Austin, shortly thereafter, started working with Hamilton. And so, yeah, we talk about Broadway stuff.
We do. This is Broadway Banter. There's a lot of banter.
Yeah, we have a focus. We will talk about something, but we will also banter quite a lot.
Today's topic is... Listen, we may be on Broadway, my friends, but we have worked some terrible jobs over the years.
Yes.
Terrible jobs.
And this is because when you want to be an actor or work in theater or work in the arts, you often have to
be a musician.
Anything that's artsy or anything that you have to wait for your chance or wait for your big break. You end up doing a lot of jobs just to survive, hence the name survival jobs. And so today we're going to talk about the many, many jobs we did while we were trying to make it.
The top 6 worst survival jobs we've had. Okay,
yes,
we're
because
going
we've
to talk
definitely
about
had
it
more
today.
than 6, but we've narrowed it down to 3 and 3.
We've got 3 and 3 of our worst survival jobs. Now, before we get started, we want you to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so that way you know exactly when our new videos are up and live, so you can chat with us live, and hit that like button because the video's good. We help, okay?
So, do you want to start?
I will start. And also, we want to hear from you in the comments. Tell us your worst survival jobs, okay? We want to hear what you all are doing.
It'll make us feel better to know that you had to do it too.
We're all doing this. Okay, my first worst survival job.
What is it?
Parking cars.
I didn't know you parked cars.
Parked cars in a parking lot, my friends.
When did you do that?
I did this for the Kansas City Royals professional baseball team.
You never told me that.
You forgot about it. You knew about it.
Never told me. I have a good memory.
This is way back in the beginning of it all, my friends. I parked cars at the Kansas City Royals parking lot.
Why was that a terrible job?
Let me tell you why it's a terrible job. Number one, you have to get to the gate like 4 or 5 hours early. Something crazy. You clock in. And you're working alone. So you don't get that camaraderie. You know, some survival jobs, which we'll talk about, other jobs we've had, you at least maybe have some camaraderie. You have some like, how you doing, Sally? I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Jamil? I'm doing pretty good. Not at this job. Let me tell you, we would check in. Then we would walk the half mile to the parking lot. And let me tell you, because I was like new and young on the scene, okay, I would get in the worst part. You know what I'm talking about? Those annex parking lots, like parking lot Z. You know how they're labeled.
Oh,
A, B,
yeah. So why did they give you the worst one?
Wait.
Were you bad at your job?
No, because I'm young and healthy, whatever that means. So I'd be way out there because you have to walk the farthest. So I'd be way out there. So that was like, it was a lot on your feet. Let me tell you another thing. It's outside. There's no shelter. There's no trees in the parking lot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's blacktop. So you got the sun and it gets hot in the Midwest.
Now, because I'm not a baseball fan, sports fan.
Yes.
When does baseball season start and end?
Baseball season starts in March with spring training, kind of end of February, March, and then April, normally in the end of April is opening day. And then it extends all the way. You got the World Series beginning of November.
So you had almost all the seasons, like outside. So you're wearing your winter coat.
All the seasons. You can get really cold at the beginning. Then in the summer, that's when it's brutal. In the summer with the blacktop and that you just sweating, it's miserable. Okay, so first you have the temperature. You have the walk. You're on your feet all day. And then what's the worst part?
What's the worst part?
The people, the customers, the clients. Use whatever word you want to use.
So what did people do? What made it bad?
Okay, first of all, because you're just some guy in the shiny vest, the reflective vest.
Yeah. And
you got the cone or the little flashlight with the orange thing that lights up. You got that little guy. You got that guy and you're like, go this way. Well, if you're just in the middle of the chain, like if you're one of that's just like point, it's fine because they basically fall. Let me tell you, if you're parking the cars, it sucks. You know why it sucks?
Why?
Because you be trying to park, because I'm at parking lot Z.
And you're telling them to go
I'm
there,
telling
and they
them
don't want to do it.
they don't want to do that because
Yeah.
it's so far away. They want to go. They see open slots down there. Well, guess what? To park down there, you had to pay the extra $20.
Yeah, so you don't
That's
get that extra
VIP
spot.
parking.
Yeah.
You can't park down there where it's free, but they get pissed off. They got their windows down. They're cursing you out. They already paid $25 to park. They thought they were going to be close. They're
Yeah.
way out there. They got to walk. My grandmother's in a wheelchair. How dare you park? I see you in.
No, you have to pay the extra money.
They're cursing at me like I'm clearly have nothing to do with the policies.
Another question.
I'm just trying to park the car where I'm supposed to park the car because it's a survival job. I don't want to be doing this. This is not a career.
What did you get paid?
Let me tell you what I got paid, my friends. I don't remember, but it had to be $9, $8.75, something.
Did you make tips? No tips.
Tips?
Because it's not valet. Yeah, no tips.
Tips?
I was just,
Has anybody ever tipped the parking lot attendant?
Honestly, you
No.
said parking cars, which made me think valet.
No.
But then
Worse.
as you described it, you told people where to park cars. So you directed
I directed it.
people to park their cars.
Oh, it was miserable. It was miserable.
Are you ready for mine?
So that's mine. That's the top worst survival job.
We're starting with the worst to the least worst.
No. I don't know how to say it properly. That was my first, but maybe the last one is the worst for me.
Okay.
They're all bad though. Okay, I want to hear about yours.
Out of my many survival jobs, I picked out 3 that really I had to motivate myself to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so out of those 3, the one that was the not as bad but kind of terrible was Navy Pier Winterfest. And so I was really actually stoked. I was really excited to get this job because it was an acting job. Or so I thought. So I applied. I showed up for the audition. It was a group audition. It was a series of really weird things, like improv things that we had to do. And I was like, this is strange. And they were like, just walk as if you're walking in a town and decide who you are in that town and behave as that person. So are you the town cook? Are you the mayor? Are you the gossip? Are you the jester? All these things. The coordinator named out all these different things you could be in the town. And so I was like, I'm the mayor, And so I walked around this improv thing.
I knew she'd be the mayor.
Okay. I walked around this improv thing as the mayor, and we did a few more exercises. And then a couple days later, she emailed everyone to let them know if they booked it or not. And I booked it, and I was super thrilled. And at the same time, I had not auditioned. At the same time, I had interviewed for Starbucks and booked and got that job as well. And so I had to negotiate those 2 schedules, but that worked out. Well, when I started working at Navy Pier Winterfest, I was in for a rude awakening. Basically, we signed up to do improv with civilians, random people, for hours a day. Basically, immersive improv theater.
Pause. We should explain what Navy Pier is for those that don't know what Navy Pier is.
That's good.
Navy Pier is tourist hell.
No, no, that's not. I thought you were going to. Okay. Navy Pier is a pier located in downtown Chicago. It is a highly tourist trafficked area, but also people who live in Chicago go to Navy Pier. It's right on the lake. Well, they'll go for July 4th or something, or for festivals.
Yeah.
But it's right on the lake. There's a huge Ferris wheel. It's just part of the
mini golf
skyline, the iconic skyline. Yeah.
And IMAX.
They've got a what is it? Is it Jimmy Buffett's
Margaritaville?
They have a Margaritaville. They have a Margaritaville. They have the shrimp, bubblegum shrimp.
Bubblegum shrimp.
So it's very touristy. It's not like touristy. Times Square, but kind of. It's got the same kind of foot traffic. So the reason I was stoked to get this job is because it paid well. I think it paid $15 an hour or something like that.
And that was big money for us back then.
That was big money for us. So I showed up and I hated it. I had to wear a ridiculous costume. I had to do my hair the same every day. so that I could wear this hat on it. And I had to deal with people's unruly children. They would just drop their children off like we were babysitters. And we were on the floor at an hour at a time. And then we'd have like a 10-minute break and then go back out. And it was really hard. And there were two of us that were the mayor, because each time the town was open, they had to have these same characters. And the other guy who played the mayor was also another actor in the city. And he didn't like the job and he called out all the time. And I always had to fill in for him. I hated it.
They had to have a mayor. If there wasn't a mayor, the whole thing would fall apart.
So that is on the list. But because it was also an acting job, I can't really say it's the worst thing I've ever done. So.
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool. It's really fun. You know, they had like snow cones and some little slides for the kids.
He wasn't there.
Ice skate. No,
He's
I'm
saying it was
not
fun.
your perspective.
Okay.
I'm saying it's fun for the people
Yeah,
that
if you're
went.
a visitor. They had
fun.
indoor activities like, you know.
It's a fun little thing.
Fun. Yeah.
But for the people working it can be tough. Just because people don't control their
really
children.
Hard.
They let their children do Why? Anyway, okay. You ready to hear my second worst?
I am. I wonder if this is a job I know you've done. Are you going to surprise me?
Oh, you know all about it. Let me tell you about this. And it's actually funny that you said Navy Pier, because this job was at Navy Pier as well.
Oh, I know what this is.
My friends, I worked at Auntie Anne's Pretzels.
That's me making a pretzel.
Yeah, it is like that. And let me tell you what I had down. I'm going to tell you all about this, my friends. But I worked at Auntie Anne's Pretzels at Navy Pier because I needed money. I needed a job. It was another job that paid like $8.
When was this in your life?
This was at the very beginning of Chicago.
Yeah, okay.
When I first moved to Chicago, I didn't have any gigs. If you listen to my story that premiered last week, I talk about my journey. Mm-hmm. This is at the beginning of Chicago, so I'm just starting out in theater. I'm trying to make money. I was making like $75 a week acting in a black box theater. I didn't have any money, so I'm trying to get any ends. Anyway, taking the bus downtown to the Navy Pier, it was a whole thing. Yeah. But you all know what I'm talking about. You've all been there. So I get to Auntie Anne's Pretzels on the first day, and of course, I'm always trying to be like a student. You know, I've got my notepad out, and I'm like, okay, first insert dough into mixer.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to get this right.
Everybody else is like, you know what I mean? They're not even listening. They're like jamming, you know, whatever. Anyway, and I'm like, okay, then we're going to do this, you know. So I took notes. I was a good student. I've never worked a POS system, and so I'm learning that. Yeah. And, you know, it was all new to me. I've never worked in the restaurant business. This is as close as I got.
Yeah.
Well, then it turns out that, I don't know if it's my art background or my attention to detail probably, I was really good at making pretzels.
Yeah.
Okay, I was making pretzels. Okay, so I sliced the dough.
There it is.
Slice the dough, roll it out.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Where are my pretzels? Why don't you make me pretzels?
I don't make pretzels because I'm scarred for life. Okay, but let me tell you the worst part of this job. Pretzels. So right now the job sounds great, doesn't it? Sound like a wonderful job?
Yeah, you just sit in there, you're good at it. That's always great.
Let me tell you the worst part of this job, Auntie Anne's, if you're listening. I'll tell you the worst part of this job.
What?
They rotate the staff. So if my job was just to make pretzels...
Oh, you have to go do something else.
Yes, they rotate stations. That's how it works. So you have a pretzel maker for an hour or two or whatever, but, you know, then you move over to the dipping station. You put it in the secret sauce. Then you bake it, you know. And then somebody else is the oven person. They take it out of the oven and they put the butter. They call that liquid gold because it's the most expensive thing in the store. You put the butter on and you put the toppings on and all that, and then you put it in the display case. So still everything's okay, right? Mm-hmm. Well, then there's the cash register.
That's the one you didn't want.
You don't want the cash register, my friends. First off, because we're at Navy Pier, so there's tourists everywhere, and they love pretzels. So there's a line, you can imagine, all day long. So it's nonstop, all day long. Just, you don't get a break. And you're dealing with unruly people. And why am I dealing with unruly people? Let me tell you. Because since I'm on the POS, we got Carlos over here. Carlos is running now. He's in charge of making the pretzels. And let me tell you about
slower?
Let me tell you about Carlos pretzels. They look like this. They're all smushed. They're all smushed. They look crazy. He can't make a good pretzel. A good pretzel's like this. His pretzels look crazy. Okay, don't laugh at me.
So
they look crazy. They're smushed. They don't even look like pretzels. They look like meatballs. Okay?
Okay.
They look like meatballs. I'm wound up today.
You are
I've been
wound
having
up.
Look, they look like meatballs, my friends. So what happens at the POS? The cash register person, they take out the meatball-looking pretzels and try to slide them in the bag real quick. The people aren't having it. They're like, I don't want that one. I don't want that. Well, it turns out they're all messed up. And then oven person who's on the oven, she burned them. She burned them. So now I got burnt pretzels in here. It was hell. People were pissed all day long. They're always upset at these crazy looking pretzels. They weren't up to snuff. They want a refund. They want their money back. This one, Bob. Like, it was nonstop dealing with people that were pissed all day long. Terrible. And I didn't even talk about the commute and all of that. You got to weed through the tourists and all that. But we do that for Broadway too. So, hey, nothing's changed. We still got to get through it.
Sounds like it sucks.
Annie Ann's what? No, I'm sure it's great at like Annie Ann's in suburbs somewhere that's just like, oh, people come in.
Like
Hello,
Navy
how are
Pier,
you today?
yeah.
The Navy, that situation, mm-mm. Or people that work in airports, I'm sure it's the same way.
Oh,
It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my Annie Ann's experience.
I wonder if I can't talk. I wonder if airport vendors of like, or like workers, you know, Starbucks or what's that burger place we
McDonald's.
No.
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack. Like, you know how there's always a markup when you go to the airport?
Yeah.
I wonder if that means the employees get a little more too.
No.
I don't think so.
No, corporate's pocketing that. Let me tell you that. There's
It's
a
messed
premium.
up. Yeah.
Well, they have to pay more rent at an airport. I'm sure rent's expensive because people won't
But
eat their
it's a
food.
symbiotic relationship. The airport needs them too.
Right. So, friends, that's mine. As we take a quick break, we just want to invite you to subscribe. Head on over to our website, 32barcut.com. It's a cool website. We designed it ourselves. We did it. It's a really cool website. At least we think so. Head on over there just to check it out.
Yeah.
And you can subscribe to our newsletter. You can buy cool stuff from our store like this. I'm on Vocal Rest.
Yeah.
Okay. 32 Bar Cut water bottles. We got water bottles. We got cool mugs.
We got merch. We got stuff. We got
the
stuff
cool
for
stuff. So head on over there.
You know,
And
if you like the show, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And later this week, Thursday, you can check out Wesley Taylor. I think it's Wesley's show. Is it Wesley's show today? This week?
Yes, this week is Wesley Taylor. That's right.
Wesley Taylor will be on
That's
32 Bar Cut the show. So if you're a fan of Wesley, check him out. He and
Who
I
isn't? Everybody loves
I know,
Wesley.
he's pretty amazing. He and I are going to be sitting down chatting, and Austin will be like behind the ones and twos, if you will. But okay, so my next worst survival job was I was a grocery delivery driver.
Ooh, I remember this.
Yes. And this was going to be my answer to creating my own schedule so that I could go on auditions. At this point in my career, I was still in Chicago. All of these survival jobs, by the way, BT dubs, are in Chicago. My agent had been sending me out on a lot of commercial auditions. And up until that point, I had gotten really adjusted to just theater auditions where you know like a week in advance or 2 weeks in advance. Well, commercial auditions are very different. You find out about those jokers like a few hours in advance. And that's happened to me a couple times. Or at most regularly like the night before or the day before. And when you have a job where you're on the schedule, learning about a commercial audition the day before is not enough time to find someone to cover you, especially when you're working at Starbucks on the 5:30 a.m. shift.
That's right.
Nobody wants to cover you, okay?
No.
So I had to figure out a way to supplement my income because I had to take less hours at Starbucks and do weekends only. So I was like, ooh, we have a car. Now, mind you, this car was on its last leg, but we were still driving it. We had that Chrysler.
Oh, yeah, the Chrysler. Yeah.
So we had a car. I looked up Instacart. I went to the training and the interview, and they said, yeah, we want you to drive for Instacart. And I was like, yes, until I started driving for Instacart. It was very stressful.
This is the beginning of Instacart.
Yeah, Instacart had been available to customers maybe for like 3 months when I started working for Instacart. It was very, very new.
Yeah.
And I think a fellow actor at an audition had told me about Instacart. But just to say, we weren't speaking loudly in the waiting room. We were just chatting politely and talking about how to make money.
That's right.
But yeah.
If you've seen our video about the 10 actors we hate in the audition.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a link
Yeah.
Right up there. Check
Don't
it out.
don't be those people.
No.
So I started out on my first gig and I was so excited. I was like, I got my first delivery. Let's go. So how it works is it's kind of like an Uber app or a Lyft app, but you can really just start from anywhere. So as long as you're working, say I'm working from 2 to 6, I'll get a notification that I have a grocery delivery. I don't get to accept it or decline it. It's just, you're on, you have a grocery delivery, and it's anywhere in the Chicago area. It could be uptown, it could be midtown, it could be downtown on the south side. You don't know. And Chicago is huge, so it's not easy to drive all those different ways.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, so I got my first delivery. I'm excited. I go to the store. People get to pick what store they want. You want to go to Mariano's. You want to go to Jewel Osco. You want to go to, I can't remember all the stores in Chicago.
Yeah, I remember
anymore.
Jewel Osco and Mariano's.
Yeah, those were the top ones.
Yeah.
And occasionally you get a Whole Foods order.
Yeah.
So I go in, this was a Whole Foods order. It's my first time. And I get everything on the guy's list and I'm super meticulous. I was slow because I was once to get the groceries the way I would want my groceries to be gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I show up to his address and it's at this high-rise building. There's no parking. I'm stressed. I have this Chrysler and I've got to figure out a way to park it without getting a ticket. I found a spot. I finally get there and, I'm like, I'm so sorry I'm late, and he's like, it's all right. And the guy is like a famous bodybuilder trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I looked at him and I was like, he looks like a model and he's also very fit. And that explains why his grocery list was so interesting. And, I told my friend BA afterwards and he was like, oh yeah, I know him. He's on Instagram, all this other stuff. And I was like, what? But anyway, that I'm just telling you that it started off kind of scary, but that was the best it ever got. After that, I'm like picking up orders, I'm picking up a family of 5, One time I dropped an order off and the person refused to answer the door.
Yeah.
And they didn't say in the notes that they wouldn't be answering the door. And so I finally just left because I had another order to go do. And it was just high stress in a city where there's no parking most of the time. A lot of these people are ordering from downtown because they live downtown and they can't go get a truckload of groceries and bring it to their apartment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I have carried groceries up elevators and then back down for another trip. And, it was awful. I hated it. And I did it off and on until I left Chicago to go on tour.
Yeah,
because
that was torture, that job. I remember that. You were miserable doing that.
I hated it. I loved that I could create my own hours.
Plus driving was always stressful for you anyway.
It was
and
the driving.
Driving in the city is not fun.
Yeah.
Like it's just rude and
Yeah. I'm sure they've made some changes because there's actually a lawsuit or something or whatever. I
saw
know.
that.
Yeah. But I'm sure that it's better. At least I hope it's better. But that was on my list.
Well, we only have 2 left.
Yeah.
One for me and one for you.
Dun, dun, dun.
So now I got to go to my number 1 worst survival job. Now this is funny because my dad's gonna laugh, but probably the worst one is painting houses.
Oh no!
Yes, that's the worst.
Oh.
Yeah. So painting houses has got to be. So my dad's a painter. So when Broadway shut down, I thought, well, we'd escape to the Midwest.
Yeah.
Get away from the city for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I'd help out my dad, painting with some jobs. Well, it ended up being a full-time gig, painting nonstop. But, it's kind of, it's a mixed bag because it really was a lot of fun to spend time with him, to paint. But man, painting.
And you learned a lot too.
Learned a lot. Like if you need anything painted, let me know. I'll give you some advice. Hit me up in the chat. I'll tell you how to paint anything. I can paint doors, garage doors. I can paint trim. I can paint molding. I can paint fascia. I can paint, a siding.
Banisters.
There's nothing I haven't painted.
Help.
There's nothing I haven't painted at this point. I mean, it's all been painted and explored. So I'll tell you all about it, my friends. Let me know if you need something painted. But anyway, so I painted.
What made it bad?
What made it bad is just it's just hard work.
Yeah.
Like it's just hard labor. Like I appreciate my dad so much because he works his butt off all day long.
Yeah.
And it's just that was the first time I'd done physical labor all day, every day.
Yeah.
Nonstop. You just work. Take a little lunch break. Work. Can we go home yet? No, the walls aren't done. We got to finish this, work
Yeah.
and then come home. And then I was like,
And you looked so different in those working clothes.
Yeah, I look like a blue collar dude.
You had your beard and everything already, but you usually are wearing like your collared printed shirts or whatever. And now you're wearing,
painter's clothes, painter's
clothes, the cargo pants. And I was like, wow, like you really look different. And it's remarkable how much clothing can change a person.
Yeah, it's so
the
true.
Packaging.
It's so true. So that was my COVID.
And you did it for a long time.
You
did it for months.
Yeah.
And then we came back to New York, and then you left and did it for a couple more months.
This nice wall you see behind us was painted by yours truly, my friends.
Yes.
Because I learned how to paint properly. And yes, there is an art to it. When you see those commercials for Bear Paint or all of that, and you see the actors, painting the walls, that's not how you paint a wall, my friends. There's technique to it. You got to do it properly. Otherwise, it's not going to... Anyway.
So they're lying to us.
I won't get into
this whole you can do it too attitude is actually not true.
No, hire a professional, my friends. If you want it done right, hire a professional.
Yeah, I like that.
But all of you people that like to do stuff, that little DIY stuff, I mean, do it. But just make sure you... Anyway. Now I'm talking about painting.
Now you're talking about painting.
The point is that I was painting houses, and it was rough. But my dad and I got to spend some quality time together. That was fun.
Yeah.
And
you learned a new skill.
I learned a new trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a better appreciation for all the painters and workers out there. Because, man, that was tough. That was tough.
I think people should hear about that, the air thing you did.
Airstream.
The Airstream, yeah.
Yeah, one of the jobs was we had to do an Airstream trailer. And it was unpolished. It was like an old Airstream. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Airstream. You'll see what we're talking about. It's a big shiny metal trailer.
Yeah.
That was popular in the 70s.
Oh,
I think.
I'm not the one.
I don't know. One of those decades. And so we had to polish that whole thing from scratch. So we'd wet sand it.
First you had to research. Your dad had to research.
Oh yeah, we had to
make
research.
sure
We had to get
there
the
was
right products.
Yeah.
We ended up getting like some airline advice, because back when airlines used to be remember they
were metal. Yeah,
that's how they used to do it. They used to do the same thing.
And you could see like the bolts.
Yeah, rivet, all the rivets, and that's how the Airstreams are. But anyway, you had to wet sand the entire thing, physical labor,
crazy.
And then you go in with another grade.
And then you say that wet sand was dangerous.
Polish.
The wet sanding is dangerous. It could take your skin off.
Well, anyway, I mean, what? No, I mean, ish. What do you mean?
Well, you said there was some power tool.
Oh yeah, then you have this power sanders that have a certain RPM rotations that they do.
Oh, you know what? When you were explaining that over the phone, because I'm so visual, I was thinking of how a power washer. I was thinking you were using something that sprayed sand.
Oh no!
I was like, that sounds so dangerous.
No, we weren't. I wasn't doing that. Okay. This wasn't that dangerous.
Okay.
What was dangerous is the times when we had to do those 50-foot peaks on the roof.
Yeah.
And my dad's up there. He's got a ladder on the roof. So we're on one roof with the ladder, and he's climbing up to do the other roof, the other gable. Anyway, that was crazy.
That's wild.
Or when people are sleeping and they've contracted you to paint some part of their deck or something that's way up on the 30-foot deck on the top floor, you just get the whole extension ladder.
Help.
You get the extension ladder, you climb up the extension ladder, fling over the side of the deck, and start working on the deck.
No.
It's crazy.
No.
Dude, there's crazy stuff.
And I thought hiking in Hawaii was scary.
If you saw some of the ladder work that my dad was doing, he had a power washer up on the top of like a 40-foot ladder. Power wash. I mean, it's crazy. And if you ever use a power washer, the pressure, it'll blow you back. And he's like hanging on a ladder, and it's like a drop off. And I was like, oh my God, the stuff he does is crazy.
So long story short,
crazy.
Kudos to Michael Cook for the job that he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? All the people they were hiring, my dad had told them that I was like, he's a Broadway musician. He's Hamilton. And they're like, for the same reason you were saying. It's like I'm wearing painter's clothes and I got a beard long and I'm like painting their house.
Yeah.
And they're like, sure he is.
But... You're like, okay. That's what he tells you.
Yeah, that's what, okay. Anyway.
Okay, so final job was actually another job in an acting venue, but I was not acting, unless you call waiting tables acting, because there is a certain level of art to that.
Let's not go down there.
Yeah, I had, up until this point, I had hosted in restaurants and I had waited tables, and now I came across this other job that I heard was really great on tips. And the reason I found out about this job is because I did a commercial for Fifth Third Bank.
Yeah.
And one of the girls in the commercial said she was a Second City server and talked about how great it was. And I thought, oh, okay. And probably she was talking about it thinking I wasn't even going to like pursue it, but that's not how I am. If somebody talked about something, I'm going to look it up and pursue it and see if it works for me. So I interviewed for this job, got the job, and I was excited because that's kind of how I enter all these things. If I interview for something, I'm going to be thrilled to do it until I find out how awful it is. So anyway, I get there and I learned the ropes. And it's just a really high stress serving job. Waiting tables in general is stressful. Yeah. But Second City is unique in that there's a show going on and that they also have a culture there. I don't know if it's since then changed, but this is in 2015 and 2014, that the culture there is that they want everyone to upsell and to make and gross as much money as possible. And the servers that gross the most also get the best sections and the bigger sections and the big parties that come into Second City. And so everything about the culture is very competitive, and not competitive like healthy competition, competitive like people will cut you off from putting in drink orders or grabbing things, or they'll like bribe the what are they called? The bartenders, to make their drinks first. It is very toxic. It was a very toxic environment. And most of the wait staff and the hosts there were all aspiring actors. So we all really were just doing this to be around the art and also make money. It sounds like a dream. Oh my gosh, I'm going to work at Second City. I'm going to be around these improvisational actors and learn from them. And what was really cool, this is probably the only cool part, other than everyone being actors and being in that culture, is that Second City always had a third set. So they'll have the show proper, and then after the show, they'll have a set and they'll invite people on to do improv with them. And if you are a server or a host at Second City and you're in the program at Second City as well, they'll invite you on and you can practice some of your skills. I didn't do any of these things. I hated working there so much, I couldn't wait to leave. Okay? Every shift, I couldn't wait to leave. And we got paid so little. Everything was tips.
Yeah.
Everything was tips. And you had to tell them how many tips you made. And if you made over a certain amount, they paid you less.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was like, I don't know what's happening here, but this doesn't sound right to me.
And you'd have people walk out on checks.
I had a group of women walk out on a check, and my manager, thank God, Nicole, my manager that night, called the cops on them, and they said to the cops, no lie, look at us. Do we look like we would steal? And they did. It was like a table of 4. They left $40 on the table. Their check was upwards of $200. And I felt like they were setting me up like I stole, like they paid in cash and I stole it.
They were white women, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a terrible experience. And I think I went home and I cried because I just...
That was a bad day. I remember.
Hated that.
Yeah.
But I hated working at Second City. I did make a good amount of money. That was the most I had made as a server. Yeah. I was able to take Austin out to Graham Elliott's restaurant for his birthday. That
was a great thing.
It just made me sad. It made me really sad to work there. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to our top 6 worst survival jobs. We know you have survival jobs too. We're all still doing it. I feel like I'm doing a survival job right now, but I won't tell you about that.
Okay.
Lord have mercy. Okay, so thanks for listening today. And now we have a PT appointment, because we're on this journey for our health. So
nutrition check-in.
Nutrition check-in. We're doing good. We're well on our way. I almost have the Terry Crews. Okay, it's not quite ready yet, but I'm getting there. I'm lifting the weights, so I'm going to keep on. And
we're staying motivated. I actually watched a video the other day where she was talking about motivation, and she was like, if you're hoping to be motivated throughout your entire workout journey, forget about it. You need to practice discipline. And I was like, ooh, I needed to hear that. Like, I needed to hear that discipline is more important than motivation, because motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. But discipline is just a matter of getting up and doing the thing, when you don't want to do the thing. So
That's right.
that's what we're trying to do, and we're going to give you a little follow-up here and there to see how we're doing. But yes, I am going to a PT appointment right now. The Lion King is offering PT for everyone in the company, not just the cast, but the stage managers, the orchestra, the dressers, the crew, anyone that needs PT to get them ready to go back to work. Yeah.
So that's it. Today's episode subscriber highlight goes to Joanna Connolly.
Joanna Connolly.
So thank you. We
so
want to
much.
thank you for subscribing, for being with us in the chat, and stay tuned because next week we might highlight you. We're going to start highlighting our subscribers and thanking you for watching.
Yeah. We are going to do that. I like that. And just, if you take anything from this survival job video, I would say hang in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang in there, friends. We've all done it. We're all in there together. So let's encourage and uplift this community of
Actors,
artists,
people,
fans,
souls,
whatever.
all of it. Bye.
See ya.